Hey everybody, welcome to Jacob's Quest, and today we just got Season 1, Episode 3 of The Mandalorian, and this is going to be a full spoiler review, so if you haven't seen it yet, don't watch this, go away right now, full spoilers. Okay, so we're gonna dive into it right now. First, I want to bring up the Baby Yoda egg eating thing. It became this big controversy. I made a video talking about my opinion of it, and you know, people, it's okay if people are offended by it. I wasn't particularly, but they didn't really address it in this episode. So I want to start off by saying that they did not really address it. They kind of just made a quick joke about it, like, hey, mind your manners, you know what I'm talking about, when he sends Baby Yoda to go sit with the frog people. But they didn't really bring it up. And I know some people are going to be upset by that, like, oh, they just left it as a joke. There was no real resolution to it. It was just a joke. That's all it really was. So I know some people are going to be upset by that. And you know, I don't know what to tell you. That's just that's the decision they made. That's what it is. But anyways, let's go back into the episode. Let's see what actually happened. So first, they had a crash landing on the planet they were headed to, and it was pretty funny. And by the way, that ship is messed up. That ship is like, he needs a new ship. That's what I'm trying to say. Because, you know, by the end of I'm skipping ahead, but by the end of this episode, he has it repaired by a bunch of Mon Calamari people, and it's like held together by netting and rope and wires, and it's like he needs a new ship. At some point, I do believe he's literally just going to get a new ship, because how many times can you repair this thing? Especially like, it doesn't even, does the cargo in the back even close now? Like, I don't even know what the situation is. It doesn't. He needs a new ship. That's all I'm saying. Maybe he'll get the slave one. I don't know. But anyways, basically they have this really funny crash landing. The frog couple reunites. They point him towards an inn, like a bar, right? And when he gets there, he uses the calamari phlegm, the currency that he got from season 1, to get some information on Mandalorians. And the barkeep's like, yeah, there were a couple of Mandalorians here a little while ago. And this other, what are the Quarren? There's the calamari, and then there's the Quarren, who are the more squid-looking people. And basically, the Quarren guy was like, oh yeah, I can take you to them. So they get on the boat, and this is the scene that we've seen in the trailer a whole lot. Oh, and I missed something. The Sasha Banks cameo. Sasha Banks is wearing a hood, and, you know, it's just trailer editing, and it's kind of just fan culture at this point, where we overanalyze things, and it turns out to be kind of nothing. Sasha Banks, she's not Sabine. She turns out to just be a Mandalorian, so, you know, she is somebody, but it's not like a cameo character that, like, oh, maybe she's this, maybe she's that. She's a Mandalorian, but, you know, it's not Sabine like a lot of people are thinking. But we'll get into that. But basically, they get on the boat that we've seen in the trailer a whole lot, and I thought that was going to be the whole episode. I thought the Mandalorian stuff was going to happen at the very end. Like, I thought they really were going to have to travel across this whole sea, and then eventually they'll get to where the Mandalorians are. But no, they're on the boat, and the Quarren are like, hey, you want to see this monster getting fed? And then they push Baby Yoda in the monster's mouth, and I was genuinely, like, I was shocked. And this show does that a lot, so I don't know why I'm so shocked at this point, but, like, they'll put Baby Yoda in danger, and they'll make me go like, oh my god. But you know, if I used my logic brain, I'm like, okay, he's not in danger. Like, he's like the mascot of the show. He's not going to go anywhere. They're not getting rid of Baby Yoda anytime soon. In any case, basically they push him in there, and then they trap the Mando under the water, and they're trying to get his Beskar, and then he's saved by some Mandalorians. And here, of course, is where we have Bo-Katan. So, real quick, this is the first appearance of Bo-Katan since Rebels, and the last time we saw her in Rebels, she had the Darksaber, and she was about to go free Mandalore from the Empire. That's what they were about to go do. They never show what ends up happening, and now we know there was some sort of purge, and Moff Gideon now has the Darksaber. That's what we, the audience, know at least. So anyways, they save him from the water, and they take their helmets off, and at first, of course, the Mandalorian's like, you're not Mandalorians, you took your helmets off, which is I think another reason why they did the whole Cobb Vanth thing, because that was his first reaction, and of course, Cobb Vanth turned out to not be a Mandalorian. So when these people do it, he's immediately like, okay, well, where did you get the armor? You know, like, a bunch of people are just getting this armor everywhere, and none of them are Mandalorians. No, but of course, you know, she explains like, no, I was on Mandalore. I'm from Mandalore. And basically she has to explain to him like, okay, you're a child of the Watch. Now, here's where I'm kind of iffy on what's going on here, because in season 1, in the flashbacks, we saw Din Djarin get saved by Death Watch because they have the Death Watch logo on their shoulders. But here she just says you're a child of the Watch, and I don't know why she said it that way. I don't know why she wouldn't just say Death Watch if it was Death Watch, because she basically explains like, yeah, they were this sect of Mandalorians who left the main planet and they wanted to bring back the old ways of Mandalore, and that's where the whole keeping your helmet on all the time thing came from. The reason I'm still kind of confused by that is because I'm pretty sure we see several members of Death Watch, including Bo-Katan herself, take off her helmet at points while they're members of Death Watch, right? I'm not like imagining that, right? Like, I'm pretty sure a lot of Death Watch people had taken off their helmets. So I'm kind of confused about that part of it. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm gonna need to go watch Clone Wars again and be like, okay, did any of them ever take off their helmets while they were still with Death Watch, or did Bo-Katan only take it off once she was no longer a member of Death Watch? I'm not really sure. I don't know. In any case, that definitely seems to be the explanation at this point, is that he was a member of a sect of Mandalorians trying to bring back the old ways, and that's why all the other Mandalorians, like Bo-Katan and everyone we've seen in Clone Wars, are free to take off their helmets at any time. And that was one of the biggest questions of this show for a while, because it's like that was not a thing until this show started. So a lot of fans were wondering like, what's going on there. So there you go, we have an answer. I still have a couple of questions about it, but at the very least we have an answer now. In any case, basically they're like, okay, we need you to help us steal back these shipments of weapons. And I think they said that they're Mandalorian weapons. I'm not actually sure. They might be just weapons in general, but basically they want to steal these weapons for an upcoming conflict. And she hasn't revealed this yet, but she's looking for the Darksaber itself. So he agrees because she's going to tell him where to meet a Jedi. And at this point, I think a lot of us were like, okay, well, it's definitely Ahsoka, because that's the only Jedi that she would know personally at this point. So that's pretty cool. So immediately they go and they sneak on, and it's basically from this point forward, it's just a live action Clone Wars episode. It's like the coolest looking thing ever. And we just see them take out a whole bunch of stormtroopers, and we see like this Imperial officer and the two pilots of the ship freaking out, and they're like, oh, they're taking down this section, they took down that section, they're like, close all the doors. It's just a really cool action sequence. It's pretty awesome. But at a certain point, the Imperial officer contacts Moff Gideon, and he's like, well, we can't help you now because they've already taken out most of the ship, so you know what you gotta do. Long live the Empire. And basically the Imperial officer kills the two pilots, and he's gonna crash the ship back onto the planet. So they actually didn't end up leaving this planet on this episode, but they did mention Moff Gideon's fleet. So Moff Gideon has an entire fleet out there. That was another big question. It was like, does he have a Star Destroyer, just like one Star Destroyer, or what does he got up there? So they said fleet. Now, you know, maybe, I don't know, in Star Wars terms, I don't know if there's like an exact number of ships that implies, but all I know is that means a good amount of ships he's got up there, so that's pretty cool. And then at one point, Bo-Katan's basically like, hey, we're gonna actually steal this whole ship, not just the weapons, because I need it for the upcoming conflict. When she kind of like gets in Din's face about it, you know, like, hey, this is the way, you know, like I'm changing the deal. And I thought for a second they were gonna do that whole Lando thing, like, this deal's getting worse all the time, but no, she's just like, this is the way, you know, kind of rubbing it in. But in any case, they end up getting to the cockpit. They fight the guy off. They save the ship from crashing. And Bo-Katan's interrogating him, like, "Where's the Darksaber?" And he's like, "If you're asking that, then you already know where it's at." And then he's basically like, "Moff Gideon won't let me live." So he kills himself with like this electrical, kind of like how they would take cyanide capsules back in the day. He does that, but it's like an electrical thing, and he kills himself. And so Mando has to leave because he's left Baby Yoda with the frog people at this point. Basically that's it. She's like, okay, you can find Ahsoka Tano on this. She called the planet like Calvin or something like that, or I don't know what, Calvin or something. And that's where you'll find Ahsoka Tano. So of course there's a confirmation that like, okay, this is where we're going. So he heads back. He grabs Baby Yoda from the frog people. Which, by the way, the frog people have hatched a little baby, and I was kind of scared that Baby Yoda was going to eat the baby, and I was like, oh, that would definitely get people angry. So gladly that did not happen. Anyway, so they get back on their ship, and he's like, all right, I finally know where I'm taking you, and that's where the episode ends. So, you know, of course, his ship at this point is like full of calamari like architecture, I guess. It's ropes and nets, and it's all fisherman stuff. It's all like, it's held together like very loosely, so he just needs a new ship. But yeah, so it looks like in the next episode we are finally going to get to Ahsoka Tano, which, you know, a lot of us already knew based on all the rumors that have been everywhere. So it does kind of make you feel like, you know, once again, we're kind of in this situation where it's like, I wonder what this would feel like if all of these rumors were not everywhere. And obviously, like, I'm saying this as someone who's made videos about this stuff. But, you know, it's like, I don't know. I can't have my cake and eat it too, I guess. It's one of those situations where it's like, I love the culture of like looking into leaks and spoilers and rumors and stuff like that. Like, I'm really into that. At the same time, I'm like, I wonder how much this would have impacted me if I had not heard about any of this. But again, I can't have it both ways, I guess. So there's just that kind of situation. In any case, this was really, really cool, and it definitely feels like this is the setup for the future of the show and the Disney Plus spin-offs. Like, it feels like Bo-Katan is gonna get her own show. That's what it feels like, this setup. Like I would not be so surprised if next month they're literally like, hey, the Leslie Headland show is Bo-Katan show or something. I don't know. Someone's making a Bo-Katan show. I would not be so surprised if that were the case, because she's talking about like building up ships and stuff for the upcoming conflict. So it definitely feels like we're getting Moff Gideon versus the Mandalorians and Bo-Katan, and that's like a whole plot line. And, you know, I'm sure we'll see these people again. I highly doubt that was the last time we'll see these Mandalorians. But we're going to see Ahsoka. And I'm betting that Sabine will be with Ahsoka, because Sabine was also rumored to be in the show. And so far, everyone that's been rumored to be in the show has been in the show. So, yeah, I think that's one thing, is that like it definitely feels like all of the rumors are confirmed at this point. You know, we technically don't know that Rosario Dawson is playing Ahsoka, but at this point, it's like she's playing Ahsoka. I think it's pretty clear at this point that that's what's going to happen. Anyways, yeah, this was definitely an episode that moved the plot along, and I think it's kind of funny is that we will go, you know, episode 2, we'll go like one episode that doesn't move the plot along. That's just like hey, it's just an adventure show. That's kind of what this is, right? And you'll see some people freak out about it. Some people like are like, no, they're moving too slowly. There's only 8 episodes. It's like, these episodes can be half an hour. They can be a full hour. You know, for all we know, the last 2 episodes of this season will be an hour long. You know, my point is, like, they planned this all out. They know where they're going. It's not like they're, you know, it's not like they're doing this as they come along weekly. It's like, no, they filmed all of this already. They know what's happening. So I don't know. Anyways, yeah, this episode was a big one, and it definitely, like, you're seeing a lot of stuff in live action for the first time, and it definitely makes you wonder, like, how big is this gonna get? Because it like every passing episode feels like, you know, it's like, okay, this is the scope of the show, but it feels like that's going to keep on increasing as we go along, because I can definitely imagine at this point having this big space battle with all of these cameo characters from the animated series that we didn't think we were ever going to see. for example, Hondo Ohnaka. I would not be so surprised if Hondo Ohnaka shows up. He's already in Galaxy's Edge. He's going to be in this show at some point. The Rebels characters, I think they're definitely going to be in this show. And my other thing about this is that characters like our original trio, Han and Luke and Leia, like, I know they might have to do recasting or de-aging or something, but I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility. I think at this point in time, with this show, I think we should start accepting that, like, okay, anything could happen at this point. Like, there's not really any rules anymore, because, like, for season 1, it felt like there was a lot of rules where it's like, okay, this is small in scope, you know, it's all like a lot of new characters that kind of resemble old characters, but nothing crazy. But now it's like, okay, no, you know what, anyone from anywhere. It can be a book, it can be a comic, it can be anything. Dr. Aphra could show up at some point, you know, like anyone could show up. Like, this could happen, you know. This is exciting. It's just I feel like this episode, not just for this show, but for what Disney Plus Star Wars could be, I feel like this definitely opened up the gateways of possibilities. Yeah, I'm buzzing right now. I feel like I need to sit down and be like, okay, what are the implications of this, and what is that planet, and, you know, where's this plot line gonna go? Because it feels like the dynamic of the show has changed a little bit. But there is one last thing I want to talk about before I leave, before I end this review. One last thing I want to talk about. So, Din Djarin is headed to Ahsoka Tano to deliver Baby Yoda to the Jedi, right? Like, that's his whole thing. Now, there's a couple of things that could happen here. Obviously, when he meets Ahsoka Tano, she could be like, well, I'm not a Jedi anymore. And then, you know, I don't know if that matters that much, right? At this point in time, unless he wants to literally give him to Luke Skywalker. I don't know who else he's gonna give Baby Yoda to. The other thing is that, like, if she's like, okay, I'll watch Baby Yoda, it's like, is Din Djarin really gonna be able to let go of the baby at this point? Because it definitely, it's feeling like, I know that that's the mission. I know that the whole mission is like, oh, he's gonna deliver the baby and then that's that. But it's like, I feel like Din Djarin's in a little bit of denial of the fact that he doesn't want to let go of this baby. I can't imagine it happening. You know, I don't think the show's gonna continue if he delivers Baby Yoda and then that's it, and then the show continues with Din Djarin, and then now there's no Baby Yoda in the show. Like, it just, that doesn't seem like a real thing that's gonna end up happening. So I definitely feel like they're gonna have to play out the whole thing where he does end up delivering Baby Yoda, and then he kind of regrets it and he goes back and he's like, no, I want the Baby Yoda back. You know, or, you know, I want to settle down somewhere with the child or something, because, like, they've already formed like that sort of connection in the show across the whole first season, and now where we're at now, it's like, I cannot imagine he's just going to be okay with actually leaving the child behind, even if it's with a Jedi, or even if it's with like a planet of Yodas or whatever. I cannot imagine any scenario where he's like, okay, I did my job, now I'm gonna go be a bounty hunter again or something. Like, it doesn't, I don't see that happening. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like, how do you write an ending to that storyline? Like, Din would have to die protecting the child, or they have to settle down and you know, he raises the child for several decades or something. Like I don't see an ending where he just drops it off and then it's like, okay, bye Baby Yoda. And like, that would be like the saddest episode of Star Wars ever, right? Like, I don't know. I can't see that happening. So that's my thing, is that, like, I know he's gonna meet Ahsoka, but there's no way Baby Yoda is staying with Ahsoka, at least not permanently. I can see them doing maybe a couple of episodes where they're separated and then he kind of changes his mind or something like that happens, but there's no way that that's a permanent thing. Anyways, that's just my thought on that. Okay, so let me know what you thought of this episode. Let me know what you think about, like, the spin-offs that this all kind of implies, the overall Filoni-verse, this bigger idea of what Disney Plus Star Wars can be. And then let me know what you think about Baby Yoda actually leaving, being left with a Jedi or other Baby Yodas, or, you know what I mean? Like is that ever even an actual possibility? Because I know that that's the mission in the show, but I don't see that actually happening. Both for Din Djarin's character, I don't see him letting go, and I don't see the franchise, the show Mandalorian, continuing without a Baby Yoda. I don't see that happening. So let me know what you think about that. Anyways, I'll see you guys on the next episode. Bye.